Long ago, in the bustling cities of ancient Greece and Rome, there lived a group of philosophers known as the Stoics. They were men like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, thinkers who pondered the deepest questions of life. Among these questions was one that still troubles us today. What is true wealth? The Stoics had a surprising answer, one that might change the way you see money, possessions, and happiness. Let me tell you a story. Imagine a rich merchant in ancient Rome. His name was Lucius. He wore fine robes, lived in a grand villa, and feasted on the best food and wine. To most people, Lucius was the picture of wealth. But inside, he was restless. He worried about losing his money. He feared thieves. He stayed awake at night thinking about business deals. One day, he heard of a philosopher named Seneca, a man who taught that wealth was not what it seemed. Curious, Lucius went to hear him speak. Seneca stood before a small crowd in a simple robe. He spoke softly, but with great power. Wealth, he said, is not gold or land or fine things. True wealth is freedom. Freedom from fear, from desire, from the opinions of others. Lucius was confused. How could a man with nothing be richer than a man with everything? Seneca explained. He told the story of Diogenes, a philosopher who owned nothing but a wooden bowl. One day, Diogenes saw a child drinking water from his hands. He threw away his bowl, realizing he did not even need that. Diogenes was free. He did not worry about losing possessions because he had none. He did not fear thieves because there was nothing to steal. His wealth was in his mind, in his ability to be content with little. Lucius left the lecture deep in thought. He began to see his riches differently. Yes, they gave him comfort, but they also brought worry. The more he had, the more he feared losing it. Slowly, he started to practice what Seneca taught. He gave away some of his wealth to those in need. He lived more simply. He focused on things no one could take from him: his character, his wisdom, his inner peace. Over time, he felt lighter, happier. He realized that true wealth was not outside him, but inside him. The Stoics taught that money and things are neither good nor bad. They are indifferent. What matters is how we use them. A rich man can be a slave to his greed, while a poor man can be free in his contentment. The key is control, not over the world, but over our own minds. Marcus Aurelius, the great emperor, wrote in his private journal, "Very little is needed to make a happy life." He ruled the Roman Empire, yet he reminded himself daily that power and wealth were fleeting. What lasted was virtue, the strength to face life with courage and wisdom. Another Stoic, Epictetus, was born a slave. He had no money, no status, yet he became one of the most respected teachers of his time. He said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Epictetus knew that desire was the root of suffering. The more we crave, the more we suffer. But if we learn to be satisfied with what we have, we are truly rich. So what can the ancient Stoics teach us about wealth today? First, that chasing money alone will not bring happiness. How many millionaires are miserable? How many people with full bank accounts have empty hearts? The Stoics would say that real wealth is measured in peace, in freedom, in the ability to face life's challenges without crumbling. Second, they teach us to distinguish between what we control and what we don't. We cannot control the stock market, the economy, or unexpected losses. But we can control our reactions. We can choose not to panic when money is tight. We can choose gratitude when times are good. Third, the Stoics remind us that wealth is a tool, not a goal. Money can do good. It can feed the hungry, educate children, heal the sick. But if we hoard it for its own sake, it becomes a burden. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Let me end with a modern story. A businessman named John had spent his life climbing the corporate ladder. He had a big house, expensive cars, and a fat bank account. But he was stressed, angry, and lonely. One day, he stumbled upon the works of Marcus Aurelius. The words struck him. He realized he had been chasing the wrong things. Slowly, he changed. He sold his mansion and moved to a smaller home. He donated to charity. He spent more time with family. Years later, he said, "I thought I was rich when I had money, but I was poor in spirit. Now, with less, I feel richer than ever." The Stoics knew something we often forget. Wealth is not about having everything. It's about needing very little. It's about finding joy in simplicity, strength in self-control, and freedom in detachment. The next time you worry about money, ask yourself, am I chasing numbers or am I building a life of meaning? The ancient Stoics whisper across the centuries, true wealth is not outside you. It's within, and no one can take that away.